He's out of the office I helped build. I'm sorry, but it's a fact that there is such a thing as manners. The way of treating people. I'm starting a new company. Who's coming with me? This is Source now, Source now, taking over the game, put it on Panda. With a better roster, six to play the lobster. Let the niggas hate for it is, will never stop us. This is Source now, taking over the game, put it on Panda. With a better roster, six to play the lobster. Let the niggas hate for it is, will never stop us. Kill the cancer, you can call me a sick assassin. Cut the chains, you can call me LeBron James. Make a decision, but you never have me in derision. Change the vision, but more them than cause division. Never in submission like I need permission. Niggas steady telling lies like a politician. Niggas steady telling lies like a politician. Niggas steady telling lies like a politician. Nigga need to cool it down, but we the new edition. Yes. Get a name is the source, check the reinvention. Get a name is the source, check the reinvention. Get a name is the source, check the reinvention. You think we not prepared for the fallout? Watch us stack this information, watch us ball out. And the roster's fire, make you pay attention. On a collegiate level with no contradiction. This is Source now, taking over the game, put it on Panda. With a better roster, six to play the lobster. Let them niggas hate for it is, will never stop us. This is Source now, taking over the game, put it on Panda. With a better roster, six to play the lobster. Let them niggas hate for it is, will never stop us. Get rid of animals so I can get rid of the fleas. Yeah. So I leave, no longer in the den of thieves. My brother King Seth said he gon' ride forever. No matter what the problem, we gon' stick together. Horizon told me he want more scholarship. So we trim the fat and kill the politics. You know Scholastic Bully set up with his head, talk about it live on the show called Ratchet Craig. We still have Craig make the announcements. If you're showing any folly, then you bouncing. Chase the sale, kicking ass if you remember. Now you understand why he's the #1 contender. This is Source now, taking over the game, put it on Panda. With a better roster, six to play the lobster. Let them niggas hate for it is, will never stop us. This is Source now, taking over the game, put it on Panda. With a better roster, six to play the lobster. Let them niggas hate for it is, will never stop us.
Yo, and we back, family. We back in the building, man. The Source in the building, man. Right? This is what we do. This one right here, family, is for all the marbles. Right? This one is for all the marbles. Right? I want to say peace to the family, man. Give all praise and glory to Abanawi Yahweh Shema Mashiach Yahweh for another day and another opportunity, man, for these brothers to bring forth this scholastic information, the scholastic truth, right, concerning tonight's debate, right? So this is what we're doing, man. This is what we're doing. This is the Final Four, right? This is what the people been waiting for, right? So tonight, man, we got Scholastic Bully in the building. We got Tanks on the ground, Yashar, right? And they fighting for something, right? They fighting for a world championship, right? See who the best, man. See who the best. This is what we doing here at the Source, man. So, you know, shout out to the Sourced Up Clique, man. SUC of the Debate League, right? This is what we do, man. So we got the family in the building, right? And I want to take this opportunity, man, to introduce the judges, right? So you judges, man, just introduce yourself to the people. And I'm gonna start with somebody you might know. Brother Solomon, the SBDL League, man. Shout out to the SBDL, man. Talk to us, Solomon.
Yeah, man. What's good? What's good? What's good? This is your boy Solomon, brother Yashar. He's about to definitely get it in. Shout out to the league, man. Shout out to the Source Debate League. And I'm looking forward to seeing who has the best argument for tonight's debate. And it's a very interesting topic. And may the best man win, And I will be doing a fly promo for the winner of this debate. I will be doing a fly promo for the winner of this debate. So make sure you come with your A game. And let's get it. Let's get it.
That's right, man. So again, we appreciate everybody, man, that's tuning in, man. Hit the like button, subscribe, right? Share this, man. It's about to go down. I want to introduce the next judge, which is our brother Trueheart. Talk to us, family.
Peace out, peace. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I just here to just listen to the sources, listen to the information, look at both of their presentations. I listened to them for a while. I've been hearing them for a while, so I know this is going to be a great debate, and I'm ready to learn also.
That's right. That's right.
And thanks to the source and Maya for building this up, man, for the people that needed it, that they don't have a voice on other platforms.
That's right. Appreciate that out. All praise and glory, man. All right, for the last judge, we have brother Kevin G. Talk to us, family. You're on mute. Kevin G, you're on mute.
Man, I'm taking his spot, man. Yo, shout out to Jashub. Shout out to Yashar. They're going to get it in. It's going to be a powerful debate. May the last man stand. This is the final four. We're going to see who's going to the championship. Let's get it, man. Let's get it. Let's start this thing up, man. I'm hyped, man. Let's get it in.
All right, family. So, hey, Kevin G, man, you got to unmute your mic, bro, so you can speak. You're on mute. All right, man. We got Kevin G in the building, right? Brother.
All right, man. King Self finna get up in here, man. The source of the building, source up or shut up, the source up click. You know what I'm saying? All right, your short finna get it in. My boy, get it in. Yes, get it in. What's up, SW? What's up, SLV? What's up, Soda, my man? Say, man. Shout out to y'all, man. Say, look out. Hey, me and James finna get it in tomorrow for a double hitter. Y'all hit it in, man. Say, King Heretic in the building. King Self out the rattlesnake, baby.
Yeah, man. James Cassell in the building, man. Number one contender. Talk to us, family.
Shalom, family. I'm just real excited, man, today for this debate, man, because the winner of this debate get to see the winner of the debate Monday night. I ain't trying to say I'm a prophet or nothing, but I think that's going to be me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just excited to see this debate get started, and I'm ready to get it in. Let's get it, baby.
Let's go, man. All right, man. Without further ado, man, I'm going to turn it over to our brother, Craig. Make the introductions, man. The floor is yours, Op.
Now, thank you, Jeremiah. Now let me introduce the opponents tonight. These two brothers are fighting for their life just to get the right for the belt. Introducing El Diablo Gigante. He's wanted for murder for his savagery against the poor HOK champion. He is constantly hunted by his ghost. I introduce
the title of the debate league, and the rival of the #1 contender. Introducing His Highness Jashub. Coming in with the mission to kill. Coming in with no time to play around. The tanks are on the ground. The Panzer, the Guardian, the Striker, the Cougar. Here he comes. Mission accepted. It's time for No Nonsense, the General Yashar.
You on mute, Jeremiah.
You muted, Jeremiah.
You muted.
Yeah, Salak. Yo, this how it's gonna go. It's gonna be, we got 3 judges. There's gonna be 3 rounds. Yo, shout out to G-Con in the building too, man. Right? There's 3 rounds, right? You brothers are doing 10 or 15-minute rounds. Talk to me.
What you want to do, Yashar?
Yeah, throw the 15 up there just in case we need it.
Gotcha. So it's going to be 3 15-minute rounds. Then we're going to have a question and answer segment, right? And then after the question and answer segment, we're going to the judges. But we want the family to speak, those that are watching. We want you to voice your opinions as well, right? So everybody, man, get your pad and pencils out and get your popcorn. It's about to be a show, right? So which one of you brothers going first?
I'm going to set the tone.
Got you.
I'm going to set the tone, bro. I've been doing it all tournament. If that's fine with you, Yashar, I'm willing to go first.
Go ahead, do your thing, bro.
All right. I'm about to share my screen. Get into it. Y'all already know what it is, 7 gang. 7 candlesticks up. It ain't a debate, it's a stick up. Y'all know the slogan.
That's
so we're going to get right into it and go to work. All right, so I'm sharing my screen, brother. You got to allow it.
I got you.
Can my screen be seen? Verified for me?
Yes, sir.
All right, start my time.
Got you.
All right, so tonight's debate is going to be on, do all humans descend from Adam? Do all humans descend from Adam? So I want my judges to understand that, and I want the audience to understand that, because the crux of my debate is going to be based on this, and it's an argument from the post-flood perspective, not the pre-flood perspective. All right, so let's get right in it. So I'm going to establish my methodology first. I will be dealing with genetic and genomic data to cement my premise tonight. So when we look into genomic insights and deal with Y chromosome Adam, which is haplotype A00, it says it's considered to be the original NRY haplotype. A00 haplotype led to A haplotype, which is one from which all modern paternal haplogroups descended. So if the Bible be true, if the biblical model be true, and Adam is the first archetype, a prototype male, then we would all descend from this Y chromosomal Adam. And this will be akin to the biblical Adam, because we all have the genetic information that traces back to Y chromosomal Adam. So what I am saying to you is that if you're going to oppose this, you got to show some type of information that shows that we go to some kind of alien branch, because all humans on the planet Earth goes back to haplogroup A, and then through haplogroup A goes back to Y chromosomal Adam through the paternal line. And the source for that is Ancestral DNA, Human Origins and Migrations by Rain J. Herrera and Ralph Garcia Berfrin, page number 129 and 130. So I also want to show the phylogeny behind this from the 1,000 Genomes Project. So if you can see to the right of the screen, this is where the family tree begins. This is the root of the phylogenetic tree. All haplogroups come from A0, haplogroup A. In the beginning of that, it's Y chromosomal Adam. It stems out and branches out and becomes every haplogroup on the planet. R1b, Q, N, O, E,
B, C, D. So from this information and using the phylogenetic tree, we can clearly see that we all descend from one male. All humans descend from one male, and according to the biblical paradigm, that would be Adam. This would be Adam that we're looking at. All right, so moving on. Gene identity by descent. So the mechanism I'm going to use, and I have been using for the first 2 slides, is gene identity by descent. We're going to identify where we come from and who we are through gene identity by descent. And this is a fundamental concept that underlies genetically mediated similarities among relatives. So studying all of the genetic and genomic data of human beings, as I showed you earlier, we all descend back from a common ancestor, which would be Y chromosomal Adam. So my opponent, I will want him to show something that contradicts this and show something that will say that majority of humans don't descend from Adam. Because if we look at the genomic data and genetic data, we can clearly see that we descend, all our Y chromosomes descend to a common ancestor. And according to the biblical paradigm, that common ancestor will be Adam. I am marrying the scientific data and the biblical data to make my argument. All right. So it says, so the natural context for the defining IBD is the ancestral recombination graph, which is known as the ARG. Right. So this is how we know that we all come from a Y chromosomal Adam. We all come from one male because we know the males carry the Y chromosome and pass it down during reproduction. And the source for this is the identity by descent, variation, and meiosis across genomes and in populations by Elizabeth A. Thompson. It was published June 2013. Moving on. So this says DNA in different current gametes that is a copy of a single piece of DNA in some ancestral individuals is said to be identical by descent or IBD from that ancestor. So we can see this DNA being passed down from the root, which would be Adam, according to the biblical paradigm and the biblical narrative. We can see this information when we study genetics, when we study genomic data. We can see it. So it's clear as day that we all descend from Adam, all humans. So I want to see this alien DNA that's out of this world, that's not human, because all humans share this. And we're using the IBD method, right? More generally, IBD may be measured relative to the population at some past time point. So we can use this information and see how far it goes back. And again, if you look at this phylogenetic tree, A0 is the beginning of the tree. It's the root. It's where all haplogroups come from, where all humans come from, which would be Adam. All right. So let me move on. And the source for all the judges in the audience, the sources will always be on the right side of the screen, so you can see where I'm getting this information from. All right, so just in case my opponent tries to use the time argument on me and say, well, the secular data does not conform with the biblical timeline. Well, I want to read this to you. It says the time until all humans share a common ancestor along the male or female line, that is, the time until the genetic ancestors for all human Y chromosomes or mitochondrial genomes has been estimated at tens to hundreds of thousands of years. However, the most recent common ancestor in terms of pedigree of all living humans. Now, remember, the debate is, this is what the debate is about. Where do all humans come from? Who did it descend from? It says the most recent common ancestor in terms of the pedigree of all living humans might have been surprisingly more recent, perhaps only 2,000 to 7,000 years ago. So if you're going to use a time argument, you got to understand something. Those times that they use in secular dates are blown out and ballooned and stretched out to fit their narrative. But if you just look at the raw data, it only fits about 2,000 to 7,000 years of history. So that wouldn't be a valid argument. And this is our most recent common ancestor, which all humans share, which goes back to Y chromosome Adam. It says, in other words, across all loci in the genome, the common ancestor for the gene genealogy whose MRCA is smallest may have lived in historical times. So this data can be used and lined up and parallel with the Bible. Like I said, I'm going to marry the scientific model and the biblical model together in tonight's debate. And the source for that is Evolutionary Genetics Concepts and Case Studies by Charles W. Fox and Jason B. Wolf, page number 172, 173. And again, my sources will be on the right side of the screen if I do not read them. They're on the right side of the screen. So let's get into this. The DNA sequences at the ends of the branches on the phylogenetic tree of those letters that relate to a DNA sequence with a specific combination of mutations are referred to as haplotypes. And remember, I brought out earlier that all haplotypes come from A0. Everybody, all of your haplotypes come from A0, comes from one male, Y chromosome atom. All right? And we understand that through the IBD method. It says groups of haplotypes that share a common ancestor and thus share a number of specific defining mutations are said to belong to a haplogroup. So that's how we find out through genetics who's related to who. And we can trace this phylogenetic tree back to the root, where it started. Where did it start? At Adam. It says, which has an older origin than the mutations defining the haplotypes. So it can be assumed that the shared ancestry, humans all have shared ancestry. All of our genomic data, all of our DNA goes back to one source, which will be Adam. It says, sometimes referred to as the most recent common ancestor, right? So the source for this is DNA for Archaeologists by Elizabeth Mattersue Smith, K. Ann and Horsberg, page number 29 and 31. Moving on. How am I doing on time, Jeremiah? How am I doing on time? Am I good? I'll keep going. It says, but it's very often you. What's my time?
You at 9 minutes now. So you got 6 minutes left.
All right. It says, but it's very often used to denote. So now I want to deal with the word Adam, because there's a reason why the word Adam denotes mankind. Why? Because all of mankind comes from Adam. So it says the word Adam is very often used to denote men, the human race. Why? It's because what the biblical authors and the people that was writing the text down was implying is that we all share a common ancestor known as Adam. Known as Adam. So we can clearly see that this motif is replete within the biblical text. You can see it used Genesis 1, 26, 27 that way, chapter 6, verse 11 that way, in the book of Psalms, chapter 68, verse 19, Psalm 76 and 11, Job 20 and 29, dealing with all men, mankind, Job 21 in the 33rd verse. So we can clearly see that the word Adam is used to denote humanity. Why? Because Adam is the root at which humanity sprung from. That's why I showed you the phylogenetic tree, showing you that all haplogroups, all races, all people groups come from one root. One root, the same thing we find in the biblical narrative. And the source for that is the Hebrew and Chaldee Lexicon to the Old Testament Scriptures by Frederick Heinrich Wilhelm. I'm going to butcher this, Jessinus, page number 18. Again, more information on the etymology of the word Adam. The word for man is identical with the proper name Adam and father, i.e. the creator of the first man. It may be the meaning intended. El is also frequently called the creator of creatures. But my point of bringing this up is the word man comes from Adam. Why? Because it represents mankind. He's the root of mankind. All of mankind comes from him. All of them. All human beings on the earth will come from this stem known as Adam. And the source is ancient Near Eastern text relating to the Old Testament with supplement. Richard Pritchard is the author, page number CLXX. All right, so now I want to deal with Eve, because if all humans come from Adam, they also would come from his wife Eve. So it says the simple hypothesis is that the same explanation offered for the sequence variation found among modern humans applies equally to the modern populations of essentially all other animal species, namely that a stamped population, no matter what its current size or similarity to the fossil of any age, has expanded from a mitochondrial uniformity within the past 200,000 years. Now, remember, I already brought up information that they're expanding these dates to fit their paradigm. But really, when you look at the raw data, it's only between 2,000 to 7,000 years. But the mitochondrial uniformity means our mitochondrial information goes to one female. And that one female will be the wife of Adam. So all humans come from Adam through Eve. That's why we have a mitochondrial uniformity. That's what connects us when we deal with the mitochondrial DNA and the information from it. And the source for that is Why Should Mitochondria Define Species by Stokely and Thaler, published in May 2018. Reading on, it says, the same article, it says, the study most startling result, perhaps is the 9 out of 10 species on Earth today, including humans, came into being 100 to 200,000 years ago. This conclusion is very surprising, and I fought against it as hard as I could, Thaler told AFP. That reaction is understandable. How does one explain the fact that 90% of animal life, genetically speaking, is roughly the same age? Was there some catastrophic event 200,000 years ago that nearly wiped the slate clean? And I brought this information up because if the brother is trying to bring some kind of pre-flood population that survived, well, according to this, a catastrophic event happened in times past that would have wiped out every other lineage. That's why we have a mitochondrial uniformity. That's why all of our Y chromosomes go to one male, because only one lineage would have survived that, if that's the angle that my brother is coming with tonight. And the source for that is Sweeping Gene Surveys Reveals New Facets of Evolution by Merrill Hood. May 28, 2018 is when it was published. All right, so reading on this, it says it's really all relative. A new study revealed that all humans are descendants of the same man and woman who lived 100,000 to 200,000 years ago. So again, all humans do come from one male, which would be Adam, and one woman, which would be Eve, according to the biblical narrative, right? And I'm marrying the biblical narrative with the scientific data. It says our communal mom and dad got together after a catastrophic event almost wiped out the human race, the Daily Mail reported of the study. The researchers studied the DNA of 5 million animals, including humans, to come to their conclusion. They also found that every 9 out of 10 animals come from the same original creatures. The research showed that humans have very low genetic diversity and variance within the species, similar to many other animals. The report came out of Rockefeller University and the University of Basel, Switzerland, published in the Journal of Human Evolution. And the source for that is, turns out all humanity is related to a single couple, but Marisa Deyato, published November 24th, 2018. How am I doing on time, Jeremiah? All right, I'm going to keep going. So again, dealing with that mitochondrial conformity, this agrees with the biblical data. Because according to the Bible in Genesis 3 verse 20, it says, and Adam called his wife's name Eve, because she was the mother of all living. So this agrees that we have a mitochondrial uniformity, that all humans go back to this one woman and all males go back to one man, which would be Adam. Because we know the Y chromosome is passed down through reproduction through the male's line. And the mitochondrial information comes from the female side. So all humans descend from one female, Adam's wife in the biblical paradigm. So right here it says, for example, researchers have calculated that mitochondrial Eve, the woman whose mitochondrial DNA was ancestral to that in all living people. So just like in the Bible, Eve would be the mother of all living. That's why she gained that name, is because that holds true. So my opponents is going to have to rebut this. But when we look at the information, it's clear. It's clear as day. All humans come from this one couple. All humans share Y chromosomes with this one couple and mitochondrial DNA from this one couple that lived in times past. All right. So with that, I'm going to yield the floor Scholastic Bully, round one. Jeremiah, you said 1 minute left, right?
Yeah. I'm sitting there talking on mute. Welcome to the source. Woo! All right. It's about source, man. It's the source game, right? So the brother brought out some powerful points, looking at how genetics connect all of humanity based upon species and whatnot. So I'm excited to hear what Yashar is going to say in rebuttal of these things, man. Yashar, you ready, brother?
Con, let's get it in.
All right, 1 second here. That's here. Let's share my screen.
Shalom, family. General Yashar, y'all. We about to get it in. The topic is, do all people descend from Adam post-flood? Now, if you pay attention to the brother's presentation, he was talking about pretty much antediluvian. Okay, so that's before the flood. He's talking about Adam all day long. Wasn't talking about, descendants of Noah. Wasn't talking about none of that. He was just talking about Adam, which is cool. And actually, I agree with the DNA information that he brought out. If you go to the next slide, I appreciate it. Slide number 2. Right? And this is and let me show you how I agree. Right? It says haplo A is localized in East Africa and Southern Africa, right? And represents the oldest and most diverse of the human Y chromosome haplogroups. I agree. It is believed to be the Y haplogroup corresponding to Y chromosome Adam. Let me show you why I agree. Next slide, please. Genesis 5:2, right? Genesis 5:2 reads, male and female created he them and blessed them and called their name Adam in the day when they were created. So what we have here, family, is the breakdown of the Y chromosome of what our brother Yashub brought out when it comes down to the DNA. Okay, when it comes down to the majority of the people having this particular Y chromosome, which basically deals with the particular man. So the men and the women, as you can read and as you can see for yourself, it says, blessed male and female created he them and called their name, meaning male and female, he called them Adam. He never called the female Eve. Okay, so let's make sure we get that understood, right? So let's go to the next slide. So right now, I want to rebuttal on when my brother was speaking about, all living things, right? My brother brought out, Eve being the mother of all living, and that's absolutely correct. But she's the mother of all living in the righteous seed, right? Meaning Seth and those after Seth, according to First Chronicles, right? See, you can't get past that part because you can't get past that part because just like we read in the word and we understand the world to be speaking of Yashar, when we see the mother of all living, we understand it meaning to speaking of the righteous seed of Adam, not all people, as the brother Yashub brought out in his information, which I appreciate because it helps my argument and also supports the Genesis 5:2 of the male and female being created, being called Adam, right? So this is why we see the Y chromosome being the Adam chromosome. Okay, so this is why they will connect that with everybody. That makes sense. Okay, so let's move on to the next slide, please. 5. In this round of our debate, I will bring some understanding of how our granddad Adam's bloodline was tainted, or how mutation by those we understand to be known as the Watchers, fallen angels, occurred. By the end of this round and the information, you will have, again, a clear understanding on how these beings were able to mate with women after man began to multiply on the earth. Next slide, please. From the Manchean, which is the Chinese version of the Book of the Giants, we find some very important information that supports that some angels, aka fallen, aka watchers, were able to take human form, which allowed them to take wives and marry them, in which they birthed regular children. But their children grew bigger and faster than the children of men. This is why we find petrified beings all over the planet, and they have uncovered 10 to 12-foot giants in mounds all over America. Mind you, those mounds were made after the flood, which is what this topic and what this debate is about. Next slide, please. Okay, so right here we see the Manchurian. Can you blow it up, please, for the family? And this is the source. And I'm going to skim down to where it says the angels descended, so that, you know, you can just see the source and what I'm reading from, right? So I apologize for not being able to highlight it, but this is what I have, right? So this is what it reads. It says the angels descended from heaven, terrify the demons who take human form. Now, mind you, a lot of people like to say, well, how did the spirit form? How did the spirits mate with the women? It wasn't that. They was given authority and power to change into human form, right? So again, we read the angels led the children of the giants away to nearby towns. The 200 demons fight an intense battle with the 4 angels. So what I'm showing you here is that the 200 angels that came down and made it with the women, according to the book of Enoch, as we gonna see later on in the debate, that these are the people that came down even during Adam's time and tainted the blood. This is why we have Cain, right? And so this is why we don't see Cain, right, in the bloodline of Adam nowhere. If you go into the First Chronicles, and if you go into the book of Genesis, where we see the genealogy mentioned and confirmation of both First Chronicles and Genesis, I think it's 5 or 6, if I'm not mistaken. I apologize for being off, but you will find that after Adam, it was Seth. It wasn't Cain. So who is the father of Cain? What is his bloodline? Right? That would be a question for Yashub to answer for us. Right? Next slide, please. So I got the book of the giants, right? And this is where I get this information from, right? And so this is what it reads. It says, many were killed, 400,000 righteous were fought with fire, naphtha, and brimstone. And the angels veiled or covered and protected or moved out of sight of Enoch, chose and extracted and listened and ravished them. They chose beautiful women and demanded them in marriage. So right here, again, we confirm it, right? We are confirming that even in the antediluvian period, that Adam's bloodline was tainted. If Adam and everybody descended from Adam. Right here, we see for a fact that the bloodline was tainted, because this goes hand in hand with scripture. And I'm going to show you that as well as we move forward. Next slide, please. So here, again, we see the book of Enoch, chapter 6, 1 through 2. That the fallen angels, aka children of Yahweh, saw our beautiful women and lusted after them, to the point they created their first oath on the planet to become an abomination in the eyesight of Yahweh our Abba. This is what it reads. Enoch chapter 6. And it came to pass, when the children of men had multiplied that in those days were born unto them beautiful and comely daughters, and the angels, the children of the heaven, right? Right here, we seeing the children of the heavens. Why? Because we understand that they are the spirits, right? It says, saw and lusted after them being the children, the beautiful and comely women of Genesis 5, right? And 2 that I just read concerning Adam being called, well, who? Excuse me, the male and the female being called Adam, as the scriptures say in Genesis 5 and 2. Then we see right here that those children from those people that was created, right, that wasn't in the garden, right, that was on the planet multiplying and being fruitful, multiplying and being fruitful. Why? Because the Most High gave them that directive, right? So let me continue to read. It says, come, let us choose us wives from among the children of men and beget us children, right? So here again, we see confirmation of the mutation, right? That a lot of these brothers that like to use secular information, is what they call science, and talk about this mutation of man, somebody coming out of Africa, starting to mutate and do all this other you know what they trying to say, we come from apes and all that old craziness, right? This is where they get it from. So instead of using the actual truth being the fallen, they want to replace that with apes being the mutation. No, family, it's this right here, what the scriptures give us, what one of our ancestor Enoch gave us, right? Next slide, please. In chapter 7, 1 through 3 of the book of Enoch confirms the oath we read about in chapter 6 to take a wife and go in unto her, which means to have sex and bring forth offspring for them that are the giants that's mentioned in every nation on the planet. True story. If we go by history, we will continue to be confused and lost. Now let's understand this. Enoch chapter 7, 1 through 3. And all the others together with them took unto themselves wives, and each chose for himself one. And they began to go in unto them and to devour and to defile themselves, right? Scroll up, Ox, so that they can see chapter 7 and read along. Because while you got that up there, that post up there, they can't read along. And they taught them charms, right, and enchantments and cutting of roots, and made them acquainted with the herbs. And they became pregnant, and they bore great giants, whose height was 3,000 ells, who consumed all acquisitions of men. And trust me, family, I'm gonna show you the offspring of these beings. I'm gonna show you, because they're still here on the planet. Okay, let's move to the next slide, please. Again, we see in the book of Enoch, chapter 9 and 7 and 8, how the fallen brought forth, right, giants, which is the reason for the flood, right? And I'm gonna read 7 through 8 real quick. And Shemyaza, to whom thou hast given authority to bear rule over his associates, which was the 200 angels that fell, right? And they have gone to the daughters of men upon the earth, and have slept with the women, and have defiled themselves, and revealed to them all kinds of sins. And the women have borne giants, and the whole earth has thereby been filled with blood and unrighteousness, family. Okay, so again, this is supporting that even during the antediluvian period, again, if Adam, right, was the father of all mankind, we see again, because this is what the brother was touching on in his first round during the time of Adam. That's all he kept mentioning. Adam, the chromosome of Adam. He wasn't clarifying, according to scripture, how it should be clarified, how I just showed you and broke it down. piece by piece. Okay. So now we dealing with Adam, right? And these individuals that was given the directive, right, to be fruitful and multiply on the planet, which they did. This is how 200 angels, right, were able to grab one woman and have a wife, family. This is how you connect the pieces and see the big picture, right? And this is what this is about. Present the information in an understanding way so that when you go back and check and fact check step by step according to how you move, you will see it clearly. Next slide, please. So now we're moving on to Jude 1:6, and it reads, and the angels which kept not their first estate, but left their own habitation. As I just pointed out more than once in the book of Enoch, where they left their first estate, they chose not, right? And they were able to transfigure into human form to be able to procreate with women on the earth, which became an abomination and a sin, right? Here we see and understand that the first form they were created and the realm they kept not as they were created to remain, right? So now let's move on to the scientific, next slide. Scientific evidence, giants, aka watchers, aka Grigori, right? Next slide. Let's get straight to the point. Mud fossils are the physical remains of the life that came before us. Giants walked this land and their bodies are still here today. Next slide, please. Where do you suppose the dead bodies of enormous size began? Next slide, please. So let's move on to the next slide, 17, please, so that we can catch up with the time, right? So now we're seeing the things that was unearthed, right? From the knives, right? From the books, from the stairs that was created for these giants, right? Next slide. So then you see the giants that was petrified from the flood that took place from the scriptures. That's in the scriptures, family. Okay. So now we seeing these giants that came forth from the procreation of those that was not supposed to create with the women of the earth, the daughters of men. Next slide, please. So now you see even in Peru.
Time. All right, man. So we're seeing something, right? We're seeing something. Hold on one second, family. Right? We're seeing something. What I'm noticing is from these the way these brothers are attacking this topic, right? Which is very interesting, man. This is a great debate. The reason is because Jashub, you got to deal with some of these scriptures. You got to deal with some of these things that are being said, and be able to explain some of this stuff, man. We're looking at the way you're attacking it from a Geno perspective, which is respectable, right? And so now I'm excited to see what you're going to do in your second round based upon what we just saw, right? All right, being pulled out from scriptures. We know some of you that are watching, some of you don't accept the book of Enoch, some of you don't read outside the Bible, but the brother lined some of these things up with the scriptures, and these things have to be addressed, man. So Scholastic Bully, what's good?
Man, I'm here, man. Share my screen.
Got you.
I'm about to come into Yashar's world. I'm visiting your planet now, man. I'm gonna go into your world, right? So as you all can see my screen, I got Bible verses. I know a lot of y'all think I don't believe the Bible because I deal with science, but hey, I can deal with science and the biblical narrative. That's what I was trying to lay and cement my foundation in the first round. I'm dealing with biblical data and scientific data. So according to Acts 17 chapter verses 26, it says, in half of one blood, all nations of men. This is modern. This is meaning all people that live today, right? Because Paul, this was written in the New Testament. This was written in the common era. It says, and have made of one blood all nations of men for to dwell on all the face of the earth, and have determined the times before appointed in the bounds of their habitation. So according to Acts, the 17th chapter, verse 26, we all descend from Adam. All humans, every single human, post-flood, according to the Bible. So according to the biblical paradigm, all extant, meaning existing humans, all extant human beings, descend from Adam. And that's what I was bringing out in my first round when I brought this to your attention. Y chromosome Adam. He's A double O haplotype that led to the A haplotype, which is the one which all modern means today, brother, post-flood, paternal haplogroups descended. So the modern Africans, the Chinese, the Caucasian, every race of man, every human being on this earth has common ancestry. All of them. None of them go back to some Nephilim or angelic race. And I'm going to deal with that. Or hybrid angelic race. Let's put it like that. Again, I want to bring this back up to for the judges can see this again and the audience can see this again. This is the 1,000 Genome Project Y chromosome phylogeny, a phylogenetic tree. And again, to the right, you see A0 being the root of the tree and sprouting out to become every modern haplogroup. E, D, C, G, H, F. So that's the Europeans, the Africans, the Chinese, everybody comes from Adam, right? So I just want to reaffirm and establish that. And this is the rest of Acts 17, verse 28. It says, for in him we live and move and have our being. What is he talking about? It says, as certain also of your own poets have said, for we are also his offspring. So all nations, all extant humans are the offspring of Adam according to the biblical narrative. So I'm using the Bible. You can see Acts 17, 26 and 28 is clear on the matter that all nations, all extant human beings, all human beings descend from Adam. Every single one. Now let's go to Genesis chapter 10, verse 23. It says, these are the clans of Noah's sons according to their lines of descent within their nations. From these, the nations spread out over the earth after the flood. So the biblical data reflects that the entire earth was populated by Noah's progeny, meaning his children, which indicates that Adam's lineage is the only lineage that exists today. Now I'm going straight from the word. Genesis 10:23 is clear on the matter. All people would come from Adam through Noah's children, his three sons, Ham, Shem, and Japheth. Here it is. If it wasn't clear, if that wasn't clear for you, this has to be abundantly clear, because Genesis 9, verse 18 to verse 19 says, the sons of Noah who came out of the ark were Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and Ham was the father of Canaan. These three were the sons of Noah, and from them, the whole earth was populated. The whole earth. So all human beings would have to, if you're going to believe in the Bible and accept the biblical data, if the Bible be true, then all humans would have to descend from the three children of Noah. And we know Noah directly descends from Adam through Seth's line. So you don't have other humans. You don't have any other alien, hybrid, angel races post-flood. You only have strictly human races post-flood. According to the biblical paradigm, all humans descend from Noah's three sons, which makes all extant populations descendants of Adam through Noah. So it's clear. It's clear, man. Let's read on. Now, I'm going to go to the book of Enoch. I'm going to the actual fragment from the Qumran scrolls, or the Dead Sea Scrolls, and read what it says. So my opponent went there, and he basically used it to say that angels hybridize with humans. But here's something that we're leaving out in the narrative. So if you go to Enoch 10, 13 through 19, it says, and at the moment of judgment by which I shall judge, they will die for all the moment of the judgment by which I shall judge. They would die for all generations. All generations. exterminate all the spirits of the bastards and of the sons of the watchers, because they cause evil done to men. So if we're going to follow the narrative of the book of Enoch, then you have to understand that the children that came from those hybridized angel-human relationships that you keep bringing up, they all died out in the flood. And that's according to the book of Enoch. It says, even if you follow the narrative found in the book of Enoch, the conclusion remains the same, because all other populations outside of Adam's lineage would have been wiped out. So we can go to the book of Enoch. But according to the book of Enoch, those people were exterminated. They were exterminated. So how are we using them as evidence of some kind of strange hybridized species outside of the human genome, when according to the own book of Enoch, they would have been eradicated? All right, so after this eradication, known as the flood, you would have had a population bottleneck. So I want to just bring this up for the judges and the audience to know. A population bottleneck is an event that drastically reduces the size of a population. The bottleneck may be caused by various events, such as environmental disaster, which the Bible talks about a worldwide flood, the hunting of a species to the point of extinction, or habitat destruction that results in the death of organisms. And that's what the Bible's talking about. And even in the pseudographic work, Enoch is talking about a bottleneck event that destroyed almost all of the human race, human species, leaving just Noah, their 3 sons, and their wives. So all humans would have to descend from Adam's lineage via Noah. And we can't just run to the book of Enoch, because even the book of Enoch says they will be destroyed and killed off. All right, so if we want to go to Jubilees, we can go to I told you, Yashar, I'm coming to your world now. Let's go to the book of Jubilees. It says in chapter 7, verse 21, for owing to these things, 3 things came to flood upon the earth, namely owing to the fornication wherein the watchers against the law of their ordinance went a-whoring after the daughters of men, and took themselves wives of all which they chose, and they made the beginning of uncleanness. And they begat sons, the Nephilim, and were all unlike, and they devoured one another. And the giants slew the Nephil, and the Nephil slew the Eo, and the Eo mankind, and one man another. And everyone sold himself to the work of iniquity, and to shed much blood, and the earth was filled with iniquity. And after this sin against the beasts and birds and all that moves and walks on the earth, and much blood was shed on the earth, and every imagination and desire of man imagined vanity and evil continually. And the Lord destroyed everything from off the face of the earth, because of the wickedness of their deeds and because of the blood which they had shed in the midst of the earth. He destroyed everything. So according to Jubilees and Enoch, these creatures, these hybridized creatures, would have been eradicated. They would not have survived the flood. If we're going to go with this story, we're going to go with this narrative, they would have not made it. So how are they going to be post-flood? All humans would have to descend from Adam post-flood, because these hybridized creatures that we keep positing and postulating and talking about would not even make it past the flood, would not even make it past the bottlenecking event that the Bible is explaining happened. But even more, let's talk about these books. The book of Enoch, Jubilees. I just took that argument because both of those books say they would have been eradicated, exterminated. But let's examine this. It says this interpretation was criticized. What interpretation? Genesis 6 and 4, book of Enoch, and what we get in Jubilees, right? It says it was criticized in certain mid-rational. While the Bible often refers angels as Benai Ha Elohim, Job 1:6, 2:1, Daniel 3:25, and Genesis Rabbah 26 and 8, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai states that the correct meaning of Benai Ha Elohim here is the sons of judges, and curses anyone who explains that they are angels. The concept of fallen angels and the idea that angels can interbreed with humans is very strange, especially since angels are God's messengers and are understood not to have evil inclination, thus being incapable of sin. It's no wonder then that Rabbi Shimon vehemently opposed the idea found in Jubilees. Similarly, Onkelos translates Benaha Elohim as human sons of rulers who took whichever women they please. So according to, I'm doing the scholarship on this thing, I'm looking at these two books, and it's not outweighing the facts. Facts is you don't have to interpret fallen angels in the Bible. There's an alternative to it. You can make the argument that there's no such thing as fallen angels in the Bible. So y'all run to these vague references to bring up and invoke these hybridized, strange alien species onto the planet. Well, one, we have no genomic data of these alien species, and two, the scriptures, the Bible, the books that you use to purport these things are in question. And last but not least, even in the books, if you consider and use this as a line of evidence, it says that everything was eradicated. The only people that would have survived is Noah, Ham, Shem, Japheth. Period. And the source for that is the Jewish Bible Quarterly, the Book of Jubilees, and the Midrash on the early chapters of Genesis. Volume 41 was published in 2013. All right, so moving on from the Enoch argument, the Jubilees argument, and the legitimacy of those arguments, I want to move on to the fact that all extant humans are related. All of them. So it says they were all, and if they're related, they have that common root, which would be Adam, which would mean all humans today in modern times, like I showed you in the phylogenetic tree of the human species, would all come from Adam. Today, that means me, Yashar, Jeremiah, everybody that's in the panel, everybody in the world would have to come back from this common root. It says they were also able to put a time frame on the genetic relatedness they saw by examining the length of DNA segments the people shared. The DNA sequences you have in common with each of your parents are quite long. The chunks you share with each of your 4 grandparents are half as long, and the bits you share with each of your 8 great-grandparents are half as long again. The longer ago an ancestor is, the shorter the chunk is likely to be, Ralph said. Out of roughly 3 million base pairs in the human genome, Coop and Raff looked for shared segments that were in order of millions of base pairs long. Statistically, matches any shorter could be a chance result. They calculated that these segments could reveal shared ancestry stretching back about 100 generations or 3,000 years. So all humans, we have shared ancestry. All humans, we all go back to the same root, which I keep telling you is Adam. And this is talking about modern people group. Modern population density, meaning present-day Africans, present-day Europeans, present-day Americans, present-day Chinese. We all of our DNA and all our genomic information would go back to Noah and his 3 sons, which would mean by the way of Noah, we're all related to Adam. And the source for that is everyone on earth is related to everyone else. DNA shows. Aaron Brown, May 27, 2013. What's my time, Jeremiah? How am I doing on time? Am I doing good on time? I need to know.
You're good. You got 2 minutes.
What? 2 minutes. All right. So it says his latest research, which he conducted with Graham Coop, which we just read about, a geneticist at the University of California, Davis, his former postdoctoral advisor, provided DNA-based evidence to confirm the mathematical theory that everyone on Earth is related. So if everyone on Earth is related, Yashar, that would mean we come from Adam. All human races, all extant, meaning existing humans today would have to come from that common root, which I am calling Adam, according to the Bible. Because again, I am merging the scientific data with the biblical narrative. And it's genetic ancestry unveils academic ancestry is what I'm showing you guys. The sources, researchers use DNA to demonstrate just how closely everyone on Earth is related to everyone else. Susan Bell, University of Southern California. Physics.org is where you can find an article, and it was published August 13, 2013. The fact that this is the same article. It says the fact that everyone has 2 parents mean that the number of ancestors for each individual doubles every generation. Ralph said, By using basic mathematics, we can calculate that 10 generations ago, each individual had 1,000 ancestors, and 20 generations ago, they had 1,000,000, and so on. But when we get to 40 generations ago, in the time of Charlemagne, we arrive at 1,000,000,000,000 ancestors. That is a problem because we know we have more ancestors than there were people. Thus, one can deduce that a lot of these ancestors must be the same person. So all of us go back to common ancestry. Common ancestry according to this, according to the mathematics, according to the science, according to the biblical narrative. So I read in Genesis 9, Genesis 10, that all people descend from Noah's 3 sons, and Noah descends from Adam. So therefore, all people that exist today would have to come from Adam. If we're following if the Bible be true and we follow the biblical paradigm, that's exactly how you would have to look at it. And even if we throw in Enoch, even if we throw in Jubilees, I want the judges to know this. The book of Enoch and Jubilees advocates and tells you that these other hybridized, if we're going to even posit they existed, would have died off in the flood. And Noah and his sons would have been a bottlenecking sequence in history. And they would have had to replenish the earth and repopulate the earth. And the source for that is researchers use DNA to demonstrate just how closely everyone on earth is related and everyone else.
Time.
Scholastic Bully.
Woo! Now, I asked the brother to do something, right? I asked the brother to do something, and that is go into the Bible, right? This is outstanding, man. And I hope that you judges are enjoying this information that's being displayed, because it really is a chess match. It really is a chess match. You know, as these brothers are vying against each other in regards to the information, right? I'm turned up, man. I'm turned up because I wanted to see what he was gonna do, right? And now as he attempted to refute Enoch and Jubilees, Yashar, man, what's good, man? Right? At this point, what's good,
man? I'm locked and loaded. Let's ride. Let's get it.
You know what I'm saying?
Let's get it.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, Yashub, I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate your scholarship. I appreciate everything that you bringing to this table, to this debate today, bro. I appreciate you. Let's get it.
Yeah. All right. One second now. Before I let you in, man, I want to let you know, right? If you all want to support the source, man, we got the source t-shirts, right? With gold fringes, right? You can get these. Just DM me, man. Source up, man, if you want to support the source. We also got the t-shirts without fringes, right? Because everybody in the source is not a Hebrew Israelite, right? Understand that. So for everybody that want to support the source, man, holler at us, man. We got it going on here, man, right? This is what we do, right? So now, back to, right, the war at hand, right? So, Yashar, are you ready?
Let's get it.
All right, let's go, man.
We're gonna start at slide 19 real fast.
Okay.
And then we gonna move through. It ain't too much to really, you know, it's self-explanatory. So let's start at 19.
Okay, I got you. All right. Sharing my screen. Slide 19.
Next slide. There we go. Okay, family. So he absolutely right. Yeshua, again, my brother is absolutely right. You know what I'm saying? When he said that, you know, they all died. As we can see right here, right? This is not something that's naturally formed on the planet. Okay, you can clearly see that this is a body that's petrified, covered up from the flood, that's made into a mountain, or what we would call a mountain, right? Next slide. Right? So this is Lake Baikal, right? And if you look at the picture clearly, you can see the form of a face. These are what we consider to be the petrified giants that was killed during the flood, that our brother Yeshua actually confirmed in the book of Enoch, that I stand on, most definitely, right? Next slide, please. And what I'm showing you, family, is different places where these beings are found, right? Now, this is the Maya Bay, where you can actually see the structure of a being again, right? Very clearly. I'm showing you, again, what's confirmed in the book of Enoch when the scriptures say that they'd be destroyed. And the Most High also confirmed it in the Bible with the flood of that we call the flood of Enoch, right? Next slide, please. Again, another petrified being in India, right? Next slide, please. In Italy, we see another petrified being, right? Next slide. We see Sleeping Beauty in Peru. Next slide. We see another one in Australia. These are not naturally formed structures, family. These are not even structures that's formed by man's hands, right? This is confirming the flood that took place in the Bible, right? So we making sense of what we can see today according to the scriptures. Next slide. Right? We see a footprint. We see more faces, right? Next slide. They lived. The giants lived according to the scriptures, the Nephilim, what we will call. Next slide. So now we get into the post-Diluvian period, right? After the flood. This is what our debate is all about, family. The post-Diluvian period, right? Next slide. Now, again, we in the book of Enoch, right? We're going to the chapter 16, right? This is what it reads. It says, and as the death of the giants, wheresoever their spirits depart from their bodies, let their flesh, that which is perishable, be without judgment. Thus shall they perish until the day of the great consummation of the great world. And a destruction shall take place of the watchers and the impious. Verse 2. And now the watchers who have sent thee to pray for them, who in the beginning were in heaven. Again, so now we seeing again the confirmation of these beings that was first in heaven, right? They first estate, and it chose to be an abomination and lay with the women through lust, right? It says, in heaven have ye been secret things, however, have not been manifested to you, yet have ye known a reprobate mystery. And this you have related to women in the hardness of your heart. And by the mystery have women and mankind multiplied evils upon the earth. Say to them, never therefore shall you obtain peace. Here is the book of Enoch, chapter 16, 2 through 3, confirms Jude 1 through 6. That will be coming up next slide. For our edification, understanding that Jude got his understanding of the fallen, aka watchers, from the book of Enoch, which we had access to at the time period. Jude is in reference and confirmation of the authentic book of Enoch. Next slide, please. Jubilees, right? Book of Jubilees, chapter 10. We get an understanding from the mouth of Noah and his sons that even after the flood, the children of the fallen were still here on the planet. We also get an understanding that even the chief spirit, Mastema, which means hate, hater, enmity, asks for a tenth to remain. So Yashub was saying, all of them was destroyed. Well, here we see where this particular being that was this chief spirit, Mastema, literally asked for a tenth to remain, right? Let's read it. Jubilees 10, 2 through 9. The sons of Noah came to Noah, their father, and they told him about the demons who were leading astray and blinding and saying and slaying his sons. He prayed before the Lord his God and said, Yahweh, the spirit of all flesh, you know how your watchers, the fathers of these spirits, acted in my day. As for these spirits which are living, imprison them. 2. The Lord of our power bade us to bind all. But the chief of the spirits, Mastema, hater, iniquity, came and said, Lord Creator, let some of them remain before me, and let them hearken to my voice. If some of them are not left to me, I shall not be able to execute the power of my will on the sons of men. For great is the wickedness of the sons of men, he said, let a tenth of them remain before him. Now we see here clearly, family, that a tenth remained after the flood. And let me show you according to the scriptures how we know this to be a fact. Next slide, fam. As we can see in Enoch 3, 1 and 11, Enoch 3, 1 through 11, that even in the post-Diluvian period, that it's not just Adam's children that are on the earth via Noah and his sons. There are others who enter the ark, and this also will be made very clear in the second round from our ancestors' information as well as outside sources and scholars. Next slide. Now we're going to deal with Philo. Whoa. Oh, wait. My bad, family. My bad. I apologize. Enoch 1, 3 through 11. Evidence of the tainted blood after the flood. Enoch, a righteous man whose eyes were opened by Yahweh, saw the vision of the holy ones in the heavens, which the angels showed me. From them I heard everything, and from them I understood as I saw, but not for this generation, but for a remote one, which is for to come. Concerning the elect, I said, and took up my parable concerning them. The holy great one will come forth from his dwelling, and the eternal power will tread upon the earth. And Mount Sinai he shall appear from his camp. So we see right here in verse 3, right, where it says, the righteous man Enoch, right, the holy one, which the angel showed me, from them heard everything, and from them understood and saw, but not for this generation. So he's showing for the next generation, family. You see what I'm saying? So he's showing for even after the flood, right? So moving on to the next slide, right? And I just said, as we can see, Enoch 3 and 1, that even the post-Diluvian period, that this not just Adam's children that are on the earth via Noah and his sons. There were others who entered the ark, as this will be made clear. Next slide. What does Philo say about these post-Diluvian giants? And when the angels of Yahweh saw the daughters of men, that they were beautiful, they took unto themselves wives of all of them whom they chose, those being whom others philosophers call demons. Moses usually called angels. And they are souls hovering in the air. And let not one suppose that what is here stated is a fable. So here we even see Philo letting us know that even this is not a fable, what's being spoken in the scriptures, family. Okay, next slide. Right, I must start in Genesis 6 and 19, 22, right? And this is what it reads, right? As so that you can get an understanding of those people who entered the ark with Noah and his 3 sons outside of their wives. This is very important to understand moving forward, so that we can do away with the incest lie on how the earth was repopulated after the flood. Can you please go to a blue letter Bible and pull up Genesis 6:19? Can you please go to the blue letter Bible and pull up Genesis 6:19 for us? Now, when we get to flesh, we should read animal or animals as a translation to cover the lie Noah and the animals are being mentioned in this verse, right? Genesis 6 and 19, right? People like to say that, oh, the flesh that's being mentioned is talking about animals. Well, we about to find out, right? So if you go to flesh, which is basar, the word we are dealing with, basar, H1320, right? And let's see what the translation speaks about, right? Let's see what the translation says, right? The word basar, flesh, right? Where it says, and every living thing of all flesh, two of every sort shall enter the ark to keep them alive with thee, male and female, right? Let's see what Basar say. So if you scroll up to where it says in NASB translation,
Where at?
keep going up.
Right here?
No. You got to move up. You got to move the screen up. Right there. That's good. Go back down a little bit. Go back down. Right there. Right? Translate from H1320 in the following manner, right? So what it says anyone, bodies, body, fatter, flesh, gaunt, lustful, man, mankind, meat, men, and persons, right? This is what the scripture is talking about. It's not talking about animals. So as we go down, next slide, fam. Next slide. Right? In Genesis 6:20, these animals that are to come on the ark by two were for sacrificial purposes. When you understand there are more animals than just cattle, fowls, and creeping things. The animals mentioned in Genesis 7 were the clean and unclean animals. Notice he didn't call his sacrificial animals clean or unclean. So I have in the PowerPoint, right? I have actually Genesis 6:20 so that you can actually read it, right? Where it says, of fowls after their kind, and of cattle after their kind, and of every creeping thing, and of everything after his kind, two of every sort shall come unto thee to keep them alive, right? Now, he didn't say male or female for them to come on, but he just said two of every sort to come on and keep them alive. This is what he stated. I'm on 36.
Gotcha.
Okay. So if you pay attention to the actual scripture that's being read in Genesis 6:20, you will understand at that point there, he's not identifying and clarifying male and female. He's just telling Noah to make sure the fowls, the cattle, and the creeping things, which are the sacrificial animals, get on the boat so that we can keep them alive. Okay. Next slide, please. Right here we see in Genesis 6:4, right? There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that. So Ak was saying, well, all the giants died. Well, right here in Genesis 6:4, which is very important to understand, there were giants in the earth also after that. After that is the post-Diluvian period, after the flood. So now my brother Yashub have a problem that he has to deal with this, family. And so we're going to support this with more scripture, right? Next slide. Right? In the book of Numbers is another source that can be used, right? Next slide. To support my stance that Adam's bloodline did not repopulate the entire planet. In Numbers chapter 13, 32 and 33, when I check the bloodline of Adam, I don't see Anak in his bloodline. How is his dad of Anak, David Banner? Verse 32, right? It says, they brought up an evil report of the land which they had searched unto the children of Israel, saying, the land through which we have gone to search, it is a land that eateth up the habitation. Therefore, and all the people that we saw in the men are men of great stature. And there we saw the giants, the sons of Anak, which come of the giants. What? But the giants supposed to be dead. But again, I showed you that a tenth of them was asked to be held tight, right? And so here we go. We see again the fallen mating with the women, bringing forth giants in the children of Anak. And we were in our own sight as grasshoppers, and so were we in their sights as grasshoppers, family. So we also see right here that the children of Anak was alive and thrusting. Next slide. Let's take a look at what the 12th century Jewish historian had to say about Yashar being.
This is a war. This is a war. This is what it's all about, man. Understand this, man. You lose and you go home. That's what this tournament is all about. Right? Understand this. They fighting for the gold. They fighting for their life. They fighting for the title. Right? That's what they fight for. Right? So we have to understand the seriousness of what's going on, and I hope you judges are paying attention, right? Because this information and your judgment will send someone home completely out of the tournament. This is the final four, right? This is what it's all about. Right? This is when your palms be sweaty, right? This is when your palms be sweaty. Right? This is for all the marbles, right? So this is what it's all about, man. So, hey, we are entering into the final round. The final round. And you brothers got to put it all on the line, man. Scholastic Bully, are you ready?
Man, I've been ready. I was born ready. You know how it go. 7 games.
Hey, you gonna die ready. You gonna die ready from the rattlesnake. Hey, you gonna die ready. You come play with me, boy.
Listen, man. Listen, I'm the Scholastic Hope. Tanks on the ground came. He shot some shots at me, but you know the Hope, right. He crushes tanks. And I came here to crush some tanks tonight, man. Let's get it. Share my screen.
Right. All
Share
right,
my
man.
screen, brother. You know how it go.
Got your
hey,
screen.
Stop. Know what I'm talking about? Give me my screen, man.
Let me tell everybody this, man. This is the last round. We're going to transition into the question and answer. I got one question for both of these brothers, right? Then we're going to go and allow them to question one another. Those that are watching, we want to hear from you, right? So I hope you all are paying attention and taking notes, right? And it's up to the debaters. If we want to open up the line for calls, we can do that too, right? So it's up to you, brothers, if y'all want to do that. But right now, we're about to transition into this last round. Then we're going into the question and answer segment amongst the brothers. All right, Scholastic Bully, let's go. Talk that talk.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Can it be seen?
Yes, sir.
All right, 7 game. Y'all know what it is. 7 candlesticks up. It ain't the betas to stick up. I keep reminding y'all. Now, if you look on the stream, the brother brought out the Nephilim. The brother brought out the Canaanite tribes. What's the problem with that argument? The problem is Canaanites descend from Canaan. Who does Canaan descend from? Ham. These are not children of hybridized angel and human relationships. They're not. Period. Now, I got the blue letter, as you can see on your screen, the definition of Nephilim. It's used twice, Genesis 6:4, Numbers 13, verse 33. And it's just simply translated as giants. The Hebrew word left untranslated by the revisers, the name of one of the Canaanitish tribes. The revisers have, however, translated the Hebrew Gibborim into mighty men, right? And Nephilim, this word translated giants in the King James Version, but retained in the Revised Version, is found in 2 passages of the Old Testament, one in Genesis 6:4, relating to the antediluvians, and the other in Numbers 13:33, relating to the sons of Anak and Canaan In the former place, the Nephilims are not necessarily to be identified with the children that's said to be born the daughters of men, or to the sons of God in Genesis 2 and 4. So the brother came with that argument. But you're dealing with the children of Canaan that have a bloodline lineage. Their Y chromosomes will be matching Noah's Y chromosome, which would match Adam's Y chromosome, which would mean all extant human beings, as I've been saying all night, would still go back to Adam. Period. Now that we got that clear and out of the way, I just wanted to bring you back to the Bible. Genesis 9, verse 18 and 19 again. The sons of Noah who come out of the ark were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And Ham was the father of Canaan. He brought up the descendants of Canaan. And this is what it says. These three were the sons of Noah, not the sons of the Nephilim, not the sons of some weird hybridized alien angel race that came down and slept with women. No, it says these came from a human father named Noah, and from them the whole earth was populated. So again, that's refuted. This is refuted, man. I refuted that argument in the second round and in the beginning of this round. There's no way around it. The earth's population, all humans come from the children of Noah, which would mean they would be descendants of Adam, which would mean all extant human beings would be of Adam's lineage. Let's go, man. All right, man, let's get back into the genetics. It says, indeed, as we move back in time, the number of common ancestors of the living population increases until the point where all individuals who have any descendants among present-day individuals are actually ancestors of all present-day individuals. So we all have that common root, like I've been saying all night, which, again, according to the biblical paradigm, will point you to Adam. It's not going to point you to no Nephilims. It's not going to point you to no hybridized race that came from outer space. It's not going to point you to what's being said in Enoch. It's not going to point you to what's being said in Jubilees, even though it contradicts itself because it said they all died. It's not going to point you to that. It's going to point you to a human ancestor, which would be Adam. We all share a common ancestor is what I'm trying to get. If y'all ain't peeped the motif and the theme yet, you sure gonna do it. You are for sure gonna be able to see this point this round. And the source is researchers use DNA to demonstrate just how closely everyone on Earth is related to everyone else. Susan Bell, University of Southern California, physics.org, August 13th, 2013 is the date of the publishing. Moving on. All right, so it says parts of the phenomenon results from increased awareness of our ancestry and realization that every human is related to a common origin, likely originating in Africa. So Yashar, if these Nephilims are real, then and they live today, who are they? Because all of our DNA and all our genomes point back to a common ancestor. So we either descend from Adam or these Nephilim. And according to the biblical paradigm, we would all descend from Adam. The source is Ancestral DNA, Human Origins and Migrations by Rain J. Herrera, Ralph Garcia, Bertrand, page number 7 to 13. All right, man, let's deal with this empirical evidence, man. Because we're going to drive this point home. We're going to drive it home. It says, when trying to determine the origin of a species, you expect that individuals of the origin contain a high amount of phenotypic and genetic diversity. So Adam would be able, just in case anyone has the question that how can one man and one woman bring forth all of the races on the earth? Adam would have that he would be a heterozygote and have that genetic diversity to be able to descend and create all of the extant human species that we see today, Chinese, African, whatever. The source for that, again, is Ancestral DNA, Human Origins and Migration, Rain J. Herrera, Ralph Garcia, and Bertrand, page number 118 to 120. All right, so it says the YEC model can retrodict the human mutation rate. This retrodiction follows from the YEC population history that we discussed previously. And YEC means young earth creation. It says humanity has undergone 2 or 3 population bottlenecks, one at the initial creation of Adam and Eve, and one at the time of the flood, where only 8 people survived on the ark. A third might be the Tower of Babel incident, where the confusion of languages resulted in populations unknown, but probably a small size. Likely of these 3 bottlenecks was followed by a rapid, if not exponential, population growth. So this population growth stemmed through the seed of Adam and Eve, through Noah, just like we read in Genesis 9, and populated the whole earth. I don't see any genomic data pointing to Nephilim. I don't see any genomic data or genetic research pointing to some alien hybridized race. I don't see it. If you got it, can you please inform the people? The source, replacing Darwin, The New Origin of Species, by Nathaniel T. Jensen. You keep going, man. Let's keep going, bro. It says, since males are the only possessors of a Y chromosome, the Y chromosome sequence is a direct record of humanity's paternal ancestry. So my question to my opponent tonight, why do we all share and common Y chromosomes if some of these humans are hybridized alien species that Enoch is talking about? Why do we all have Y chromosomes that go back to a common ancestor? You got to answer that, man. How? How are we going to purport that these creatures had children that lived and survived past the flood, and we cannot see any genomic or genetic data that reflects that story? I need answers. The people need answers. The source is replacing Darwin, New Origin Species, by Nathaniel T. Jensen again. It says, because of the uniparental inheritance, the Y chromosome shares a member of characteristics with other uniparentally inherited genetic compartment. The mitochondrial DNA genome in both compartments, all modern DNA differences, are the result of mutations to the sequence that was present in the first ancestors. Both compartments go back to a single sequence. So we take all of the genetic and genomic data, Y chromosome, mitochondrial, they all go back to a single sequence, which will point us back to Adam and point us back to Eve. You do not see any genetic information that's pointing us to some Nephilim hybridized race. You don't see any. It's not in the phylogenetic tree. It's not in our phylogeny. That is not in our genomic data anywhere. So I pose this to the judges. Where is this genomic data from this alien hybridized race? That's all I ask. It says the mitochondrial DNA sequences to Eve, mitochondrial DNA sequences in the Y chromosome sequence to Adam's Y chromosome sequence. And that's what I've been purporting all day. All our Y chromosomes go back to Adam. All of the mitochondrial DNA on the earth goes back to Eve. The same source, replacing Darwin, The New Origins of Species, by Nathaniel T. Jensen. All right, so it says consistent with the post-flood dispersal, because this brother believes that Nephilim survived after the first flood. Where is it in the blood? Where is it in the DNA? Because when I look at the DNA, I can line it up with Noah's 3 sons and their wives. It says right here, consistent with post-flood dispersal, many of the various major ethnic lineages genetically join one another in the mitochondrial DNA tree at the L, M, and N nodes. These are maternal haplogroups. So these 3, it says, rather than forming a nested hierarchy back to these nodes, it is as if the lineage diverged suddenly one from another, rather than being related back to one another through a long series of mixing, intermarriages, and slow dispersal. So what this is saying, the L, M, and N nodes are representing the 3 women that these brothers would have brought on the boat with them, the 3 wives that they would have brought on the boat with them. So that's where all female haplogroups go back to, L, M, and N. And Nathaniel T. Jensen, which is a master geneticist that came from Harvard, is showing you that these 3 branches are the beginning branches of all maternal haplogroups, because the only lineage that lives and survives on the planet Earth is Adam's lineage. There is no Nephilim DNA. Let me keep going, man. So I gave y'all a visual. The 3 nodes represent putative women. What putative women? The wives of Ham, Shem, and Japheth. As you can see the 3 green arrows, that will be the L, M, and N nodes. And all of them, all of the human race, all of the females go back to these 3. as you can see it branching out and becoming all of the known extant human races. Every single one of them come from L, M, and N. So again, where are we getting this Nephilim crap at when we're dealing with the genetics, when we're dealing with genomic data? We don't see it. We don't see it. All I see is human genetic information, not some ancient alien hybridization stuff. I don't see that. Again, here it is, blown up for you. The 3 nodes in the middle, which will be L, M, and N, according to the model presented by Nathaniel T. Jensen, which is a master geneticist, right? Graduated Harvard, got his master's degree. This is the model that he brought up, and he's showing that all of the extant human life comes from these 3 women. And we know who their husbands were. Ham, Shem, and Japheth. These are all human lineages, including the children of Anak. The children of Anak would come from Canaan, and Canaan would come from Ham, and Ham would come from Noah, and Noah would descend through Seth through Adam. You don't have any Nephilim. They're not in our lineage. Adam, Seth, Enos, Kenan, Mahalil, Jared, Enoch, Methuselah, Lamech, Noah, all humans coming from Adam. This is our lineage. This is human ancestry. This is mankind. They're going back to Adam through Noah because the Bible says his children will populate the earth. Let's keep going, man. Scholastic bully. So again, going into the Midrashic data. What's my time? What's my time looking like? I need to know. What's my time, Jeremiah? Where am I at?
You're at 6 minutes, man. You got a whole world ahead of you.
All right. So in the Midrash data, it says, which were DNA Jews, writing this stuff down. It says, it therefore commences once more with the founding member of mankind, Adam. So within the Midrash, we understood that all of mankind came from Adam. We understood that. It's replete throughout the Bible. It's replete throughout the historical text, historical data, and it's replete through the genomic data, studying the human genome. It says, furthermore, the rest of the scripture identify Adam and Eve as the sole meaning only, progenitors.
My bad, you got 5 minutes.
Okay. The sole progenitors of the entire human race. This is what the genomic data is showing, and this is what the scriptures is saying. That Adam and Eve will be the sole progenitors of the entire human race. And Noah, his wife, his 3 sons, and their wives as the most immediate ancestors of the modern races or ethnic groups formed as a result of confusion of languages at Babel. See Genesis 11, 8-9. And the source is Searching for Adam, Genesis and the Truth About Man's Origin by Dr. Terry Mortensen, page number 298. So let's go back into 2 Ezra 6 and 54. Let's go into some biblical data. It says, and after these, Adam also, whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures, of him come we all, and the people also whom thou hast chosen. So according to 2 Ezra chapter 6, verse 54, the book of Ezra is clear on the matter of shared common ancestry across all humanity through Adam's bloodline. It's clear and concise. There's no way around it. We all descend from Adam. All extant human beings descend from Adam. There is no Nephilim lineage. There is no weird hybridized alien Ridley Scott type of alien coming down and mating with women and producing this weird genome. We don't see that. We don't see that in anywhere in the genomic data. All right, so back to the Midrash. So Bible, Midrash, scientific data. I got different pockets I can go into. It says, he forms their hearts all together. The Talmud states, when a man mints many coins from the same mold, they are exactly alike. But Hashem formed all of mankind from Adam. So these people that was writing the Midrashic data, they understood that we all come from Adam. Ezra understood we all come from Adam. The people that composed Genesis understood we all come from Adam. And guess what? The genetic information and the people that's doing the genome project understand we all have a common ancestor. I'm just marrying the ideas, harmonization, bringing them two together, showing you that they're compatible. Both are saying the same thing. All right. So again, dealing with the population genetics, it says the popular classification of race are based chiefly on skin color with other relevant features, including height, eyes, and hair. Though these physical differences may appear on a superficial level to be very dramatic, they are determined by only a minute portion of the genome. We as a species have been estimated to share 99.9% of our DNA with each other. The few differences that do exist reflect differences in environment and external factors, not core biology. So when you deal with core biology, we all have a common ancestor. And according to the biblical narrative, that core, our primary ancestor, the most recent common ancestor, would be Adam. All humans share 99.9% of DNA. So how are you factoring in hybridized Ridley Scott, alien, weird creatures coming down, having sex with women and making these babies and somehow surviving a worldwide flood that would have bottlenecked all of humanity? How, Sway? How? Source, how science and genetics are reshaping the race debate of the 21st century. Vivian Chow, harvard.edu is where you can find an article. Now let's deal with the Neanderthals, because some of y'all think Neanderthals are aliens from outer space as well. So I'm going to deal with y'all too as well. The Neanderthals are considered today to be our closest extinct relatives. And we shared, we as in humans, modern humans, and Neanderthals, we shared a common ancestor about 550 to 765,000 years ago, before diverging about 381 to 473,000 years ago. Genetic evidence suggests, and remember, these dates are blown out of proportion to fit their paradigm. But this is actually happening between 2,000 to 7,000 years ago, if you remember the source I brought forth in my first round. But anyway, back into it. It says genetic evidence suggests that Neanderthal DNA is approximately 99.7% identical to modern humans. So so I have a question. How are Neanderthals anything different than what we are? They 99.7% similar. Come on, man. Don't start with that jazz, man. We're not doing that here. We say no to vague interpretations and get thorough breakdowns. So with that, I provided ample amount of evidence to prove that our genome goes back to Adam. I provided scripture after scripture. I provided midrashic text, which will give you an idea of what the first century Jews were thinking and how they computed the data and how they processed the data coming from the Bible. They looked at it as if humanity came from Adam. The scriptures looked at it saying that humanity came from Adam. We saw it in Ezra, we saw it in Genesis, we saw that all the sons of Noah populated the known earth. All of extant human beings will have to come back, including Neanderthals, will have to come through Adam's lineage. Because why else would they have 99.7% identical DNA to modern humans?
Time.
And with that, scholastic bullet.
Woo! All right.
They shoe in.
Right, family? This is it, man. This is it. Yashar, man, brother. You got some explaining to do, brother. I hope you were paying close attention to some of that information the brother was bringing out. And, you're going to have to answer some of these things, man. So I'm excited about the question and answer segment, which is next. But you're going to be able to pin your opponent down to answer these questions, man. Right? Yashar, are you ready?
Tanks on the ground. Let's get it.
Let's get it.
Let's start at slide number 39. Right. So the brother was going in, man. You know, he was real passionate about how he felt about the situation, right? And that's what's up. I feel your passion, but we're gonna put some water on that fire, brother. We're gonna put some water on that fire with this slide right here, right? Because you say, right, we all, it didn't pop up. Oh, there it go. There it go. 39. The one above that. Yeah, there we go. So the brother brought out, DNA and all that. He's talking about DNA. And we have a common ancestor and everything, right? Hey man, that was real nice how you put that. I'm just saying, bro, I appreciate your energy, man. For real. But like I said, we're gonna put some water on that fire, man. So look, what we have here is a blood type chart, right? Because according to the scripture, say that we all the same blood, right? But when we talk about the scriptures, we know that the scripture is talking strictly to Israel. It ain't talking about everybody, man. Everybody got blood for sure. Because, if you get shot, a white person gets shot, Korean person gets shot, Asian, whoever gets shot, they gonna bleed. So yeah, we all bleed. We all got blood. Yeah, for sure. But it's a difference in our blood, as you can see at this chart right here, right? You see O negative, right? Then you see A negative. That's a difference from B negative, huh? But we all got the same blood. According to science, in this chart right here, right? We don't have the same blood, family. We all don't have the same blood. We all can't say that we come from the same individual. We can't say that. Because if we all came from the same individual, then it would be no difference in the blood type. It'll all be the same blood type. So the brother wanted to understand, how is it so? Well, science shows you right here, my brother. As you all can see, family, this is how we understand that there's different individuals, different nations of people. You understand? And all that. So look, let's go on to the next slide, right? 40. Let's go to the next slide. Let's take a look at what the 12th century Jewish historian had to say about Yashar being directed in Leviticus 16, 5 and 10. He says, cast an scapegoat. Now, hold on. Before I get off into this, right? We need to understand that Leviticus is given to us post-flood, right? Post-diluvian, right? So this is after the fact, right? Where all the giants and all anything that can pretty much taint our blood, is gone. It's erased, right? But let's read what the scriptures say. It says, cast an scapegoat out for Azazel, aka Hashatan. Mind you, those laws were given to us post-diluvian period. If the fallen didn't taint some of Adam's blood for a second time, how did the giants get here again, right? Let's go on to the next slide. Yermel, 12th century Jewish historian, wrote, Azazel did not repent. Therefore, when the Israelites used to bring sacrifices on the Day of Atonement, they cast one lot to the Lord that it might atone for iniquities of the Israelites, and one lot for Azazel. Azazel is mentioned in the book of Enoch, family. How is he still around? Why are we casting out a real goat according to our law, right? Our law, something that we cannot break. to something that's imaginary, that's not real. See, this is what you have to do, family. You have to dig deep and allow the spirit to reveal things to you. You see what I'm saying? This is very important to understand. You understand what I'm saying? Now, this is coming from an historian, right? So let's move on to the next slide, right? Now, this is another historian, right? Irenaeus, right? The famous apologist accepts Enoch as scripture and in against heresies discussed the doctrine of that Enoch was God's legate to fallen angels, which is unique to Enoch, and that a group of fallen angels devised methods of sorcery to adulterate with women. So now we have another historian, right, agreeing with the book of Enoch, right? Even though I really don't, they don't approve anything for me. Next slide, next slide. Right, Irenaeus, right? They don't really approve anything for me, but in the same breath, right? It's still for this edification for the family. It's good to present to show you that even those, right, that understood the book of Enoch to be legit gave some good insight and some good report on the book of Enoch, right? Here we read, Irenaeus confirmed the book of Enoch while also showing that he agreed that the fallen is the ones who tainted the entire planet. Let me show you some post-Diluvian giants, right? So next slide, and I'm gonna show you the post-Diluvian giants a little bit later, right? 1 Samuel 17 and 26, right? And this is King David. Everybody know about King David, right? And it reads, and King David spoke to the men that stood by him, saying, what shall be done to the man that killeth this Philistine, right? And taketh away the reproach from Israel, from whom this uncircumcised Philistine, that he should defy the armies of Yahweh, right? So now we all understand that this Philistine, right, is a giant, right? So if we go back to Jubilees 10 and 29, right, and you ain't got to go, I'm going to go for you, right? And it reads, again, we see that, again, a tenth of the fallen was kept alive. You see what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, we have to understand that this is how the giants, Yashub, this is how they came to be again upon the earth. Our family is not going to give a false description to say that, oh, we were as grasshoppers in their sights. That's letting us know that they were, again, giants upon the earth, family. So let me read this real quick for you so I can confirm, again, what was said by one of the chief angels that fell, right? And this is what the chief angel says in Jubilees 10, 2 and 9, right? 10, 2 through 9, right? It says, but the chief of the spirits, Mastema, came and said, Lord Creator, let some of them, right, hearken to my voice. If some of them are not left to me, I shall not be able to execute power of my will on the sons of men. For great is the wickedness of the sons of men. He said, let a tenth of them remain before him. And so this is why we see again David fighting against a giant called Goliath, and Goliath having brothers. Now this has nothing to do with the children of Anak, family. This is another remnant of giants upon the earth, and I'm gonna show you more giants that was upon the earth in 1800s. Okay, right? So let's move forward. Right. Next slide. 44. Modern archaeologists agree that the Philistines were different from their neighbors. Their arrival on the eastern shores of the Mediterranean in the early 12th century BC is marked by pottery with close parallels to the ancient Greeks' worlds, the use of anagen instead of Shemitic script, and consumption of pork. Now, again, right here, we see again, right, that these individuals, the archaeology, right, are showing us again difference from their neighbors. So again, we understand that if they all come from Adam, there'll be no difference in the neighbors, family. We all be the same. There'll be no difference. But there has to be a difference via the women, right? All those women was not of the children of Adam. As my brothers say, they will all be retarded and they'll all be dead. Excuse my language, and not retarded, but they wouldn't be able to able to reprocreate as much as they done in this day and time. And I apologize for not having a scientific word, but you have to understand, my brother understands what I'm saying, and he agrees to this because we already had this discussion. So we can't say that those women, right, were of the daughters of Adam, and those sons of Noah was of the sons of Adam, because they wouldn't be able to procreate. They have issues, right? Next slide, Doc. What this pic shows us is the archaeology work that was done to find out the depth information, the connection between Yashar and the Philistines. If we all go by the evidence and science concerning, right, DNA of these two nations, we see that they are not connected to each other, and only one connected to Adam. And who could that possibly be that's connected to Adam? That would be Yashar. The Philistines are not connected to Adam. They might be connected to Adam of Genesis 5 and 2, but not the Adam of the righteous seed that's mentioned all throughout the scriptures and what the scriptures is all about, which my brother Yashub should have pointed out to the family. But that's okay. I'm going to do it for her. Next slide. All right. The four early Iron Age DNA samples, all from infants buried beneath the floors of Philistine houses, include proportionately more additional European ancestry in their genetic signatures, roughly 14%, than in the Philistine Bronze Age samples, 2 to 9%, according to the researchers. While the origins of this additional European ancestries are not conclusive, the most plausible models point to Greece, Crete, Sardinia, and the Iberian Peninsula. So again, we see again the difference in the DNA, right? So, and this DNA is separate from Yashar, family. This DNA is different from the righteous bloodline that's spoken about in the scriptures. Again, if it's all one bloodline, why do we see different nations? Huh? You have to understand this, family. Daniel, master director of Leon Levy expedition to Ashkelon and a co-author of the study, hails the results and direct evidence that supports the theory that the Philistines began as a migration, as migrants from the west who settled in Ashkelon. So here we see again that these people came from a different location and settled in our land. So how are they the children of Adam? This is not making no sense, family. The brother's not making no sense. And you see if you scroll up, you can see the source to all of this information in red. Everything is sourced out. We're not playing these games. Next slide, please. The study analysis DNA from 10 sets of humans remain recovered from Ashkelon across 3 different time periods. So what I'm showing you, family, is that even through the 3 different time periods, we seeing different groups of people, not of the bloodline of Adam, because again, we still have to deal with Genesis 5 and 2, where male and female were called Adam, which populated the earth, and not the Adam that was placed in the garden, whom after he was placed in the garden, then his wife was created, and then they came out of the garden, 2 people that was already populated, 2
those that the angels had chose from 200 women. You have to make sense of what's really going on, family, according to the scriptures, not according to man's doctrine. I love you, Ak, but you're doing this man's doctrine thing, and we can't have that. You understand? So a middle late Bronze Age burial ground about 1650 to 1200 BC, which predates the Philistine presence in the area. So again, we seeing different people in the area of Yashar when we conquered it. Okay, so it cannot be the children of Adam, family. What's very clear is that the post-Diluvian people do not come from one person, aka Adam, as archaeological and DNA evidence provide for us at this point in time. Next slide, Ak. We managed to catch this movement of people coming to Ashkelon from southern Europe, again, according to Michael Feldman, and archaeogenesis at the Max Planck Institute, and study co-author. Then it disappears very quickly within 200 years. So now again, we're seeing that a bloodline is changing in 200 years. So how can that bloodline be the same after the post-Diluvian period, when we see all of these different things, from the giants to all of these different nations of people, family, according to archaeology, science, DNA? You see what I'm saying, family? It's not making no sense. Again, we see and understand archaeogenesis, Michael Fledman, showing clearly that a migration took place from the north into Ashkelon, which is located in northern Judea, into what they call the land of Philistine. One can only intermarry into another bloodline. This is more solid evidence that proves not all people post-Diluvian came from DNA or one man, aka Adam. Next slide, Doc. This is very important to understand, right? The Peyotes, a Native American tribe indigenous to parts of Nevada. So we're talking about over here in the land where we at right now, have an oral tradition that they told to early Caucasians, settlers of the area, about race of red-haired white giants or barbarians that their ancestors referred to as Chitika. The story was written down in 1882, right? Scroll up, by Sarah Wakana Hopkins, daughter of Peyote Indian chief, in her book, Life Among the Peyotes. So right here you see the chief and his daughter, who's writing about these giants, family. So again, we see again that even when we're looking at these Native Americans right here, that's telling us about somebody that's not even of their bloodline, red hair, right? We don't read nothing in description, according to the scriptures, nowhere where Adam was red haired at all, right? Next slide, For Josiah, right? Now we're dealing with a priest, right? Next slide. For Josiah, priest, right? Writings in his American antiquities and discoveries in the West, ancient North America, have been crowded with Egyptian, Romans, lost tribes of Yashar, Hindus, and others, and giants. So we hearing from a priest, family. We hearing from a priest about these giants. Not only are we hearing about the giants, but we also hearing about those who are around our time, including ourselves. Egyptians, Romans, the so-called lost tribes of Yashar, Hindus, and others, according to this priest, and giants. Precise scriptures on giants and notes. There are those who imagine that the first inhabitants of the globe, or the antediluvians, were much larger than our race at the present time. And he reports discoveries such as one in the Indiana, of several skulls, legs, high bones, which plainly show that their possessors were persons of gigantic stature, family.
Laughable Today, American Antiquities was a bestseller when it appeared in 1835, going through 5 editions, 22,000 copies, family, so that people can understand this truth from a priest, family. Next slide, right? So here, the desert region where giant skeletons was found. So now we getting some information from the Arabs, right? So check this out. This is what the Arabs report. The desert region where the giant skeleton was found is called empty quarter, which means in Arabic, Rab Ab Kuli, right? This body has been found by Aramco, right? Exploration team. This proves what Allah Swat said in the Quran about the people of Ad, nation of Hud nation, and nation and Hud nation. They were so tall, wide, and very powerful, full that they were able to pull out big trees just with one hand. But what happened after when they became misguided and disobeyed Allah? Allah Swat destroyed the whole nation. So again, family, we seeing again that there were other beings on the planet, family. This is coming in the Quran after the flood, okay? Right? The Saudi military took over this whole area, right? So we already understand how the military takes over places that they want to keep hid from us. And so they even doing it over there in the Arabic land, just as well as they do it over here. In all other lands that they want to hide the presence of the giants, to make it seem like the Bible is a lie. Our ancestors' scriptures was a lie. When we actually seeing it, the evidence, scroll up, Ox, so they can see the evidence of this giant, right? That was found in Arab, right? So these are the things that we have to deal with, family, right? Next picture, next slide. We see here again, we see another depiction of another giant being, right? On the planet. So we also understand again, if you scroll up down so that the people can see it, that again, that even before and after the flood, that there were giants on the earth, family. Okay? That's the reason that I showed that pic. Next slide, 53.
Yo, that's
the topic of this debate.
That is time. Right? All right, family. Here it is. We're transitioning to the question and answer segment, right? So while these brothers are doing a question and answer segment, right after that, we want to allow you to cast your votes, those that are watching. So we're going to make this transition, right? Jashub, since you went first, Yashar, you'll be able to ask your question first. And then Jashub, we got 2 minutes to answer.
Okay, my first question to you, Yashub, is can you explain how giants came from normal people like you and me? Like, I have yet to see any one of us bring forth a giant when we have children, you know, with our women that's here on the planet now. So can you explain to me how the giants came forth concerning numbers, right? Dealing with the children of Anak, and then also dealing with Goliath and his brothers and his family, dealing with King David in 1 Samuel.
All right, Jashub, you understand the question?
Yes, I mean, that's pretty simple. Pretty simple.
All right, time starts now.
So to answer this brother's question about giants, you got to understand something. The Bible doesn't quantify the giants in Genesis 6 and 4, but it gives a measurement for Goliath, which was called a giant. And according to the Masoretic text, Goliath would only be 6'9". That means LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, and a lot of your basketball players would be considered giants. So when you say giants, it's just talking about someone of stature, but it doesn't mean it's some kind of fanciful 200-foot giant. as you brought out in your presentation, because in the Bible itself, even if you use the King James version, you're only going to get 9'9". You're not going to get 200-foot colossal people from that. So two humans getting together, mating and reproducing and creating a 6 foot, and that infant becomes a 6'9" basketball player. In the ancient days, we would call that a giant. That's pretty normal. That's not really hard, or something hard to conceive or wrap my head around. It's pretty normal. So that's my answer to your question.
All right. Jashub,
all right, my question to Tanks on the Ground, Yashar, much respect. My question to you is, can you show us this Y chromosome that was passed down by these angels that had sex with these women and created the Nephilim? Because, can you show us that? Show us the Y chromosome that came from these angels, because the Y chromosome comes from the male lineage, and these will be the men that slept with these women.
Right. As we go back into Jubilees, right, it speaks about those angels, right? And those were men, right? We see that they took the form of men only. You understand? We don't read in the scriptures where we see angels taking the form of women. So when we hear about and read about, in Enoch and Jubilees, and even in the Bible itself, in the book of Genesis, when it talks about the giants and those children of heaven coming down, mating with the women, becoming an abomination, it wouldn't be man, because we were created to love on our women. They were a perfect gift for us. So you can't say at all that, for a fact that the Y chromosome, because like you said, and like I agree with you, it only deals with the male. And when we deal with the scriptures, that's what the angels were, males.
All right. It's your turn to ask the question to me, right, Jeremiah?
Yes, sir. It's your turn, Yashar.
Okay. So when we see, right, again, right.
Oh yeah, for the record, 3 questions apiece, man. Go ahead. It's your second question, right?
Say again.
3 questions apiece. Your second question, right?
Right. This is my second question.
Okay, come. Go ahead.
So if DNA, right, if we all have a common ancestry, right, and you basing it off of DNA, and you are recorded tonight and stating that we all have the same blood, how is it that Adam had O negative, O positive, A, B, O, A, B negative, A, B positive? How did he have all of those in one person? Or did he just have one blood type? Can you explain that to the family so that we can understand how everybody come from Adam, but we all don't have the same blood? Can you explain that to us?
Yes. Yes, fairly easily.
Hold on. Yashub. Yeah, there you go. All right, go ahead.
So we have to understand this one thing. Yes, he would have one blood type, but the genetic information to create all the blood types, all the phenotypes, all the haplogroups came from one haplogroup A, and through haplogroup A, the YAP positive, which is the ancestor to haplogroup A, would be A00. So that means all blood types, all phenotypes, all the genetic material across the board in the human race would have started there, then mutated and diverged from there. All blood types, everything, all the genetic information, because we all share a common ancestor. All Y chromosomes go back to Adam. So therefore, through bottlenecking, haplotypes and genotypes change and morph when we deal with the scientific data. So again, all of the characteristics and traits that we see in humans today would have diverged and splintered off the original ancestral population, which Adam belonged to.
Okay, well, explain to the family how the mutation took place, because what you're saying don't make sense. Because if they all come from one person, including a woman, how is it that, right? Because according to, again, Genesis 5:2, they were created male and female, and they were called Adam. And then Adam was created and placed in the garden, and then a woman was created from him, and her name was called Eve. Her name was never related to Adam. So how are everybody related? It's not making no sense, bro, when you talk about the blood type. At what point in time does hold on 1 second. This is my question to you. How did the mutation take place if everybody comes from one source?
All right, so understand this will be a question. So after this, it bounce back over here for 2 questions.
Oh, yeah, I can answer that. Again, Adam and Eve would have to be heterozygotes, not homozygotes. So they would have enough genetic diversity to create all of the DNA differences that we see in modern extant human population. That includes the blood types. And mutations come from copying errors, because in all your cells in your body, they carry a copy of your genetic code, 3 billion pairs or 3 billion letters, right? That contain the genetic code to make up who we are as humans. When these codes are copied, right? When they're copied, there are minute errors and mutations arose. And that's how we get the divergence from the original stock and creating more haplogroups, haplogroup A to B to C to D to E to F, all the haplogroups, and all of the distinguishing traits come from that root, which we call Adam. And every trait, every phenotypical trait, every genotype, all of those things trace back to Adam through mutations over time, brother. So that's my response to your third question, because you gave me 2. My question to you is, I gave you the genetic data and genomic data on common ancestry, that all humans share common ancestry with a common ancestor. Why don't we see humans descending from these Nephilim or these angelic hybridized beings that you purport to exist?
You see it through the blood types, because even though I didn't post it and show it in the blood types, they have an unknown blood type that they can't trace, and they can't trace it back to. This is scientifically proven. Now, if any of the judges is hearing my voice, I would advise you to check into that unknown blood type, right? That you can see on a chart. And those who actually understand blood type understand exactly what I'm saying, right? It's a blood type that's unknown. They don't know where it comes from. Yashub. So science has to answer that for you, my brother, because at the end of the day, it's not just one blood type. It's many, as I just proven and showed in the chart. And anybody that chooses to go back and check, they can check for themselves. It's really hard to find, factual DNA evidence, because even the courts tell you that DNA is entertainment. It's subjective. Like the information that my brother just gave as his answer, it sounded good, but it's subjective, family. It could be argued. It's not a fact. And with that, I yield the mic.
All right, Jashub, you got one more question?
My final and last question would be, according to Genesis, the 9th chapter, all of the earth will be populated with the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Are you positing? Do you posit that that scripture is contradicting the Bible? Because from your stance, you're saying that that's not true. But according to the literature, it would mean that there wouldn't be any other human lineages except Adam, like Adam's lineage, post flood. Go ahead.
What Jubilees 10, 2 and 9 is telling you that it was a remnant that was left, right? And I stand on Jubilees, just like I stand on Enoch, just like I stand on the Holy Bible, right? I stand on the Apocrypha, right? I stand on all of my ancestors' information that's revealed to me through the Spirit, right? So when I understand that it was things that was done outside of some of our understanding, you know, I have to present it to the family so that you can get this understanding, right? So that you can be edified, just like everybody that's listening to my voice can be edified. Because we don't know everything, and that's what these debates is about, so that we can learn from each other, so that we can grow with each other, right? And that's what I appreciate you bringing this, your style that you bring to this debate, because at the end of the day, you know, no matter who wins, you know what I'm saying, the family gonna win. You see what I'm saying? And that's all I care about. You see what I'm saying? So that's my answer to your question, bro. And I appreciate this debate, man. Love you, bro. And yeah, shalom, family. Tanks on the ground. General Yashar.
All right. All right, man. So time is ringing true. It's time for the decision. Now, before we go to the judges, I want everybody that's in the comment board is on fire right now, by the way. All right. I see you brothers out there. So for those in the comment board, I want you to give me a number 1 if you're voting for Jashub. I want you to give me a number 2 if you're voting for Yashar. All right? Talk to me, family. We want to hear from you. All right? So now, somebody's fate is on the line. Somebody about to go home, man. Somebody is about to go home. All right? Somebody is about to lose their life in this tournament. Right? So we're making the transition into the judges, and I hope you judges are ready. And I'm glad I'm not one of the judges, because this was a slobber knocker, right? This was an all-out war, right? So first judge I want to go to is brother Kevin G. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right.
Talk to us, family.
Man, I'm telling you that this was some. First of all, what I liked about this debate was that there was some respect and decor between both of them. They respected each other, they loved each other, and it was all there, and I appreciate that.
Right.
I felt like this is one of those things where you had nothing but to do but just to listen to the information and just soak it all in. So that I love that part. Now down to the nitty gritty. I think both brothers did well as far as presenting their information. However, I always give the to somebody who's bringing more recent information, someone who's bringing more up to date and scientific part of the information, and that's where I give Yashub a lot of credit, because not only did he talk about biblical scripture that talked about the information, but he also brought out different things scientifically, more so than Yashar when it came down to the genetic evidence, how yes, we all are related. We all share the same autosomal DNA. We all have the same haplotype groups that are related to each other. And been studying that for myself for a long time and seeing the information he's presented. There's really no hole in that, and there's no way of getting around that. that all human beings as we know it do descend from a common source, and it is shown scientifically. I heard Yashar's information regarding the blood type, but again, having different blood type, actually all 4 blood types do exist in all groups of people. And because you can have a group of people that have majority O, majority AB, majority A, or majority B, but they still have the other differences within that group. So respectfully, though, they both did a good job. I think they did well bringing out the information. My vote's gonna go for Yashub.
All right. So we have the first vote going for Yashub, the scholastic bully, right? True Heart, man, where you at, man? Come on back in here. Right? So, who is this? Hold on one second, family.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, you can be heard.
Oh yeah, this was a great debate. It was a good debate. I was listening. Man, I was going back and forth. I ain't gonna lie. But like you said, Jashub came with a little bit more scholarly work, and you know, it broke it down more of the lineage all the way to Adam. And I think the main thing that he kept pushing him to answer was the angel's Y chromosome. Where is it at in the human being today? And I think that's what made him, to me, go over the top over the 3 rounds.
So your vote is for Yashub.
Oh, Jashub, yeah. Yes, Jashub.
All right, man. So we got 2 votes. We got 2 votes for Yashub. All right, it's pretty much over, but let's hear from our brother. So, come on, talk to us, family.
I want to first give a shout out to both of the debaters. It's been an excellent debate. I'm looking at the notes, and it was like a back and forth because in round 1, the brother Yashub laid down, DNA evidence connecting Adam to the Y chromosome, and he was suggesting that, scientifically, that all sources point to an original origin, which will go back to this Adam, and it corroborates with the Bible. But then Yashar came and he countered that by saying, well, according to the Bible, it was another beings that the Nephilim actually came and began to mate with the humans. And then he also posed a very interesting argument suggesting that, well, Adam the man and Adam the people, that's 2 kind of different things. So, and he used the Bible verse to show that it says that we both created male and female, and we called their name Adam. So that was suggesting that it was more so a race of beings that was named Adam. This is what I'm assuming. And so the brother would then come in his rebuttal round and say that all the Nephilim died on the planet. And there was Nephilim, and he would go to, I believe that there was the book of Enoch, chapter 10, verse 13 and 19, and he shows that they all actually died. And then Yashar would come back and say, well, no, they didn't all die. And he actually went to the Bible and to prove that it says it in the Bible that there were some that existed after. It was Genesis chapter 6, verse 4. But with all that being said, I think that ultimately, as what the other judges said, the deciding factor is how he connected the DNA and he corroborated it with the actual stories about. I don't think that Yashar really pinpointed what this Nephilim was and how can we see what this Nephilim is. So with that, I'm gonna give it to Yashub. Shout out to both debaters. It was an excellent debate. Source Debate League. They did their damn thing tonight. And I'm looking forward to seeing the other debate. And yeah, bro. Very, very powerful debaters tonight, bro.
Yeah, man.
Hey, man, I appreciate it. Each and every one of y'all judges, man. Thank y'all for y'all time. Thank y'all for y'all wisdom. And shit, man, tanks on the ground, bro. General Yashar.
Tanks on the ground. Tanks are definitely on the ground, man. Hey, this is what it's all about, man. We here at the source, rounding out.
Congratulations, Yashub. Congratulations, bro.
I appreciate it, brother. You know, it's still tanks on the ground. I got nothing but love for my brother Yashar. I got nothing but love for him. But man, it's a competition, man. We had to fight. We had to do our little bout and get this over with, man. It's all love, brother, on my end.
Yo, man, with all praise and glory, man. We appreciate everybody tuning in, man. This is the source.
Oh, right? And can I say one more thing before you go?
Yeah.
I just wanted to say, all the debaters who really want to debate, man, come to this league. These brothers are the smartest people that I've been around, and they really put out their sources, man. I listen to them every day, all day. You know what I'm saying? So you really want to, challenge your intellect, come to this league. Y'all stop talking on the Facebooks and then running when people want to debate. Come to the league.
That's right. That's right. So, hey, man, at the end of the day, man, this is what it's all about, right? You understand? This is the tournament at the Source Debate League, right?
Hey,
I'm about to
let me say this.
I'm about to come to you.
Okay, my bad.
Yeah, I'm about to come to you. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just letting the people know, man, this is what's going on at the Source, right? We're working towards somebody going home with the new belt, the belt of the Source. Understand that, right? The championship belt, man. Somebody's going home. And when the winner wins, they're going to get this in the mail, man. Real talk, right? So this is what it's all about, man. I want to go ahead and pass the floor over to Yashub, man. You know what I'm saying? Scholastic Bully in the building. Talk to us, family.
Listen, man. 7 gangs, 7 candlesticks up. It ain't a debate, it's a stick up. I keep telling y'all, man. And whoever win this debate Monday night, if I'm correct, right? Monday night is when they're going to debate at 7.
Yeah.
On the 27th. Between my brother King, Self, and James. I'm going to smoke one of y'all, bro. I'm going to smoke you bad, King. If it's you, I'm going to smoke you like mesquite wood on barbecue, bro. That's how bad I'm going to smoke you. And if it's my brother James, man, I got nothing but love for you. I'm going to smoke you too, brother. So I'm excited to see how the outcome of y'all debate go. I know it's going to be a classic. I know y'all two gladiators coming into the ring, and y'all going to swing hard. So I'm looking to see who come out of that so I can go ahead and claim y'all head. And you know what I'm saying? Hang it up in my house. That'll be my trophy to go along with my belt. Scholastic Bully.
7 gang, man. Right? Sourced up click, man. We in the building, right? Source up or shut up. That's what this is all about, man. Right? To all the haters out there, man, we appreciate the love. Right? We still moving forward, man. We still moving forward, and we got the support of the community, man. Right? And this is what it's all about, right? We here at the Source are here to promote you. We're here to promote the information. We're here to work hand in hand with those who are sincere and who can get in the ring and defend their stance, man. That's what it's all about, man. So with that being said, man, we out of here, man. Yo, King Seth, you in the building, man. What's good, man? Talk to me, family. Huh? All right, man. We up out of here. Peace to the family. Everybody watching, man. You know what I'm saying? Share the video, hit the like button. We appreciate the love, man. Don't forget to get your Shorts t-shirt, man. Support the league, man. Support the league, right? All praise and glory to the Most High, man. Peace, family. We out of here.